My name is Kaper Salonen. If I'm speaking with Finnish people, it's Kaper Salonen. The way I use we in my head when I'm using it, or indeed in my poetry most of the time when I use it, I mean the entire human race. I mean humanity. For the poetry I do and for the poetry open mic community is that it really is about bringing everything to the table, but everybody understands that we need solutions to these things. And the poet's task is not to create solutions, but to create the fertile situation where that can happen, and that can only happen through sharing and through listening. These events go towards this peace and this love automatically, even if somebody is anxious or even upset or angry by something someone said. I barely remember a single sort of altercation really from almost a decade of this stuff, and there's few and far between are the altercations. And people come together and they don't know what to expect a lot of the time. They don't know what to expect of themselves or others, but in the end they get listened to. There's a lot of writers who have taught me how to love that thing. Dylan Thomas is one of the biggest ones, really, that I sort of keep coming to. There's a couple times a year I'll grab one of his collected poems and just go like, oh yeah, fuck. I've written like 10 poems in like a month or two, and that's a lot for me. In Finnish mostly. So this is the first English one I've sort of had after I quit a job I had, because I worked at a bookstore, and that was too much, and so I left it because I didn't have time to do any of this, and so I suddenly had a lot of time, and I visited my old English teacher at my high school in Tikkurila. This is a couple of days ago, late last week, and I met him. His name is Gary Hunt. He's a wonderful human being, and I wish him the best retirement ever, because he was instrumental in shaping my aesthetics and my critical mind. Walking back from visiting Gary, I walked along the tracks of down there in Vantaa, where I went to school, and it just came this flush, because I saw this thicket, because trees are starting to, the first buds of certain trees are starting to sort of show themselves in these are the first days of that.
Nature coming back up through the tracks.
Coming right back up, and there's infinite metaphors there, because we are nature, we are from nature, and so nature provides us with stories about ourselves, and that's what I want to do. There's only so much anybody can stand or should be expected to stand. I've listened to poetry in probably more than 15 different languages live on a stage, mostly in Finland. I mean, I wrote like 3 or 4 poems in Finnish during this peak when I just quit, and the job wasn't a bad job. It was helping people out with stuff they need, but it was just a wrong way for me to be using my time. So when that ended, when I found that freedom, and I sort of gave myself that freedom, perhaps more precarious financially now that I have one less job, but it was so worth it. And the first couple poems that came out were just like revelations to me, kind of. Like, it's stuff I'd never written in Finnish in that way before, because flow and stream of consciousness are they're my main ways of interacting with the world and of writing poetry.
Me too,
but it never sort of, it was that Ginsberg fucking spirit that came through, really. I gave myself that spirit. I'll say goodbye to y'all. Thank you very much for listening. This came at an interesting time of my life. Well, all times of life are interesting one way or another, but this is directly before, I think, just before I quit this job that I was talking about. And but there was something I needed to say, and I started reading the biography of Allen Ginsberg at the same time. So that really got me in a very, very personal way. And and this is about the way we see ourselves and the way what learning about yourself means, and what becoming a better person kind of means to me.
Wonderful.
It's called Used to Be. I used to be the type that strode into the fire, frozen in borrowed attire, Whenever a half-hollow sorrow would kick up, then expire. My dreams made me a liar. What I wanted wasn't what I would have wanted if I'd known I'd be so ill at ease with the tones of confusion. It's almost impossible to chill with a cardiac contusion. I'm through with the illusion, 'cause I lose and I bruise when I choose that solution. I'm human. How do I hold this holy office? How to flip the soul system imposed on our promise. In my visions I convene with a troupe of beat shamans who sweat out their sagas in holy cipher saunas. I feel like the heat is upon us. False demons are scheming to take everything from us. But the soul of the solstice illuminates our hearts. Even when hope springs wintry, our trust is off the charts in each other and the miracles the living world imparts. The cynicism clears. We cyclic sinners hear our own simmering fears, and we're lost the least when we know we've been found. Listening to our innermost glimmers of holy sound, the sweet salt of our tears nourishes the trembling ground, resembling how even the quietest voices can be loved to be loud. But I used to be intent on expecting the best, never hedging my bets at my own head's request, telling stories to my psyche without heeding the rest, only newly lonely since my ego left the nest. I'm an eagle from the west, soaring blessed and flawed. I'll fly into myself and detest like a precious message from the gods, long awaited, collocated with the sound of sweet applause internally, the clash of waves crashing on a seldom sleepy shore, all intended verbally to learn what came before. Eventually, I mean. A century of dreams can shake me to my core, although I don't know what it means to be better than I was in every single case. But I think I found a headspace without all of these lead weights holding our hearts down. So I'll step out of my set pace, hand on my chest plate, 'cause even the blessed ache, and listen to how hope sounds. It used to be I'd be the king of rampant expectations. Now I want to lose that crown and think in revelations.